Hey, what's going on, everybody? Game Geezer here. So I wanted to show you guys how to use your PS4 controller on your PC and the ways that I've found that are best to use that. So I have a nice high-end system here, and I also enjoy playing emulators, all that kind of stuff. You know, so I want to play some new games with some friends. I want to play whatever, emulators on my own, whatever I'm doing, and I'm looking for that controller. And for some weird reason, I do not have an Xbox 360 controller, which would work the same as what I'm about to show you. So, for some reason, you got a wired, it needs to be wired. That's important. It needs to be a wired 360 controller. That will work. Basically, plug and play. But for some reason, all the ones I have here are wireless, and that just doesn't work. So, I also happen to have a PS4. And I actually keep a PS4 remote by my computer now. That's how easy this is. And I'm going to show you how to use this with Bluetooth and with the USB wire. It's real easy. So let's jump into it. You're going to need this program here called Ds4 Windows. And I'm going to leave a link in the description to download it straight from me through Microsoft Cloud. So I'm going to share this link. I already put it in a folder to share, and you won't have to worry about viruses or getting the right one or any of that. I'll show you that now. See? No viruses or any junk like that. There's no malware or any crap in there. So it's clean. You're going to get the same thing that I'm running here. You don't have to go looking around, which is nice, right? So I guess I could show you the Bluetooth version first. So if your PC has Bluetooth, you'll most likely see this in the corner there, this Bluetooth device. If you don't, you might still have Bluetooth on your PC. It doesn't mean you don't, it's just that I have mine turned on, so it's there. If you have it turned off, it won't be here. But if you know for a fact you got Bluetooth on your system, just do a search here and search for Bluetooth. And you should see Bluetooth settings pop up here. And then you can find it through there. Devices here. See, if you have it already here, this will take you to the same thing. See. So anyways, when you're in this screen and you have your Bluetooth device on, you're gonna basically just need to do a search for your controller. So to do this, to get this to connect, you're gonna have to hold down the PlayStation Center button and the share button so until your controller flashes so it can be discovered. So hold this down. See that little flash there? So now we should be able to find it. Okay, wireless controller. So here it is. So we're going to connect that. Okay, so now it's connected. And your computer might be downloading drivers and stuff right now after you first connect it. Now you'll see that the light isn't on. That's just something that happens when you connect it to Windows. It's technically connected, but here's the thing. A lot of games have trouble recognizing this controller, and that's not good. And that's where this app comes into play that I told you about, this Ds4 Windows. And what it's going to do when you open it here, get out of here, is it's going to have two things in here. It's going to have Ds4 Update and then Ds4 Windows. So what you're going to do is you're going to run the update first. I already ran that, so I'm not going to run it twice. And then you're going to run Ds4 Windows. Now, once you run the update, you're never going to use it again. But you are going to use this Ds4 Windows every single time you want to do this. So now I'm going to run this. And you'll see here, it's going to show the address for my controller, the ID. It's going to say Bluetooth and the battery life, 60%. And now I have a blue bar. Now, what's really cool about this app, you leave it. It'll go in the system tray down here, running. So you just run this every time you want to link this up, and what it does is it takes your PS4 controller and it tells Windows that you just hooked up a 360 controller. So every game that will work with a 360 wired controller, basically you just did that by turning your PS4 controller into the same thing. So this is going to trick Windows and say, hey, it's a 360 controller, even though it's not. And it works great. So this is connected Bluetooth. It's perfect. It's great. I mean, it just does its job, and it does it very well. So that's how you're going to do this Bluetooth, and this will work with emulators. This will work with Steam games, everything. I mean, I haven't really found anything it doesn't work with. But there was a time that I did run into a scenario where Bluetooth wasn't an option for an emulator, and it just depends on plugins and stuff like that. So what I did was I did it wired, and I'm going to show you how to do it wired. It's just as easy, and all that stuff. So I'm going to turn my Bluetooth off. I'm going to close out my DS for Windows. See, it's running in the corner here. So I'm just going to exit that. So that's done, and I'm just going to disconnect my device here. Yes. Remove my wireless controller there. Okay, so it's gone, you see? So it's no longer in Bluetooth. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your cable, your USB cable. You're going to plug it into a USB slot, obviously. And then you're going to hook it up straight in to your controller. Like that. Setting up device. Okay. Okay, now it's completed. So now we're hooked up here. But it's still not done. Basically, this may work just like this, as is for some things, but for the most part, you just want to go ahead, let it download the drivers, do its course, all that stuff, and basically run DS for Windows again. And there it is, the controller again. It's going to say it's charging, and here, status USB. So it's going to be the exact same thing, Bluetooth or not. See, now the blue light's back on, but now we're wired. So now if you go into like an emulator or something, it'll show up as a wired controller, a wired joystick is what it'll say, most likely. So you can just leave that running in the background, close this back out, and then you got a wired controller. Getting it booted up here. Push X. You can see there I already pushed X. And you can see my controller's working great. And this is wired. And I'm going to come back in here with Bluetooth and set this all up and everything and test it out again. Now, if you're running Bluetooth on like an old laptop or tablet or something for some reason, you might notice Bluetooth lag with your controller set up with Bluetooth. So USB might be a better option for some of you. There is some programs that help with Bluetooth lag, and they do work. But for the most part, I would only run Bluetooth if you know your system's going to handle it well, because nobody likes lag in a game. I mean, it's just annoying and obnoxious. But USB is just as great as the Bluetooth edition, Bluetooth mode. And so I'm going to exit my game there. I'm going to go ahead and hop over to Bluetooth train. Controller was removed. Yes, yes, yes. Just to make it easy, I'm going to close that out. So now I'm going to open up my Bluetooth again. I'm going to hit the PS button and share till my controller links. Okay, we got the little seizure going on here, so we're just going to add it. Add Bluetooth. Wireless controller. Connecting. Done. Open up DS for Windows again. Run it. There it is. in Bluetooth mode. Alright. Now I'm going to run Little Nightmares again. See, that time it said press A instead of press X, because when you use the wired mode, it literally straight up is like, okay, this is Xbox 360. Now, it still works, Bluetooth mode, obviously. You can see here, everything's going. I'll even jump in here. Both modes work exactly the same, USB versus Bluetooth. But the perk is, if you go with USB, most of the time on a Steam game that supports it, it'll straight up, you know, be like, hey, this button, and this button. It'll already kind of have a better layout. But I haven't had any issues. And you can see here, jumping around, everything's cool. Everything works. Everything's great. Everything's doing its job. Super happy with it, right? So, desktop. So there you go. I'll go ahead and even show an emulator. Another little side note, if you're, when you download this, if it doesn't have this little icon, like it doesn't look like books, that's just because I'm using something called WinRAR. And that's just a program that helps extract files and stuff. So yours might just be like a zipped up vanilla looking folder or whatever. It's going to be the same thing. Okay. So here I'm in the Dreamcast emulator. And you can see here, it's on Bluetooth. And everything is working just fine. Let it do its thing here. Start.
Welcome.
Cool, right? Pretty freaking awesome. So, everything's working great. Nothing crazy or anything like that. The controls aren't weird. I'm sure maybe once in a while you run into a game where the controls are a little weird. You can set that up, you know, either through the emulator or through the game or whatever you need to do. But pretty much everything I plugged into, it's already on point. So there's that. So it does work with emulators, Bluetooth or wired. Everything just works. But the biggest help of all is that Ds4 Windows. You must run that after your drivers in Windows. So just like I showed you, plug it in, make sure Windows recognizes it, does its thing, and then after Windows is done with it, Ds4 Windows takes over. Just run it, you know? So remember, the first time you run it, you're going to need to run the updater.
Welcome to the power.
The updater, and then the Ds4 Windows. So now that we're done here, let me just Ds4 Windows, must have, awesome. If you're working with a PS3 controller or a really old PS4 controller and it's not like the newer looking ones, you may have some issues connecting it to Bluetooth. I heard that some people had that issue, but for most people this should just work the same way I'm showing you. So anyways, that's pretty much all you need there. And for some of you, you might even want to just make a copy on your desktop like that. And then you'll have this whenever you want. You know, then you don't have to open that folder every time. You can just like that, you know. But anyways, that's just how I do it, because I have a PS4 controller laying around, and I think it's great. I actually leave this one by my computer now. I don't put it in the game room. I leave it here because I love my PS4 controller now for my PC. I think it's awesome. But again, you can just go pick up a wired 360 controller. It's going to work just the same. And you probably won't need Ds4 Windows, but you might need, I don't know, maybe something else once in a while. But for the most part, 360 wired will just work. It'll recognize in most emulators, and Steam and all that stuff. But if you're like me and for some reason you happen to have a PS4 controller but not 360 wired controller, this is a perfect solution, and it's really simple. So again, I'm going to leave the link in the description. You can download this. It's going to download this. You can download it straight from me, from Windows, the Windows Cloud storage. I put it as a share folder there, and it's all good to go. So you'll get the exact same thing I got. This should work on 64 and 32-bit operating system. I'm running 64-bit Windows 10. So there's that, and I hope that you're having a good time with setting up your games and all that stuff. If you could please subscribe, that'd be great. I would most enjoy that. And thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming.